All right, you guys are the early birds. We're still going to wait a couple more minutes.
Always found that people will trickle in the first 5 minutes or so. I'll make sure to keep an eye out and make sure everyone gets admitted. Hi, Melissa. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
People. I can be lame and have everyone have an icebreaker, but I'll wait till more people are here, then I'll be lame. Hi there, Ramona. Welcome to the group. My clock is showing 11:01, but we can give it a couple more minutes still. We'll do 11:04, 11:05. See how everyone gets in.
I know there are a few more people in here. If you guys want to drop in the chat where you're listening, or not where you're listening from, where you are located and what your business is, we can all get to know each other a little bit.
Hi there, Dina. Welcome.
Good morning.
All right. What do you think, Karina? Should we go ahead and get started?
Sure.
Cool. I'll admit people as they come in. I'll invite people to introduce themselves if they're a little bit of latecomer, but want to say hi to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jacob. I won't give my fancy title. I'm project manager with Mid-Columbia Economic Development District, also known as MCED. We're so happy to be able to sponsor this event. in collaboration with Washington State Micro Enterprise Association. We received a grant for them to help small businesses in Washington as well as Oregon, because we're the Gorge, to help build skills, especially things like social media, and set everyone else up for success and connect each other as well. I want to thank the Washington Chambers also, because I'm sure they'll eventually hear this recording, for making this possible. So want to introduce you, Karina. Karina is the owner and founder, however you want to say it, of the Vibe Consignment in the Dalles. She is a pro at social media. She was able to speak at our symposium for economic development this last fall, and it was great to hear some of the stuff that she's doing in her business. And I'm going to give the floor to her and let her lead from here. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Jacob. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I am exactly what he said. I'm the owner of Vibe Consignment. Just a little background on me. I have been reselling online for the last 12 years, and I actually started my business solely through social media. So I was selling on Instagram, which I think you're actually not even allowed to do anymore unless you have like a shop connected to it. But I would just post items for sale and sell it to friends and local people near me. And then it kind of grew into a bunch of different stages. But now I have my business, my brick and mortar business in downtown the Dalles called Vibe Consignment. And I do most of my marketing through social media. And by most, I mean like 90% of my marketing through social media. And it's been a great way to kind of organically grow and connect in the community. As somebody who's not originally from the Gorge, it has been a wonderful way to just connect and meet people and get my business out there so that people can learn about what I have to offer. But anyway, I'm going to start my little presentation. I was joking with a friend. I don't remember the last time I made an actual presentation, so I hope this meets standards. But here we are. Can you guys see my screen? Let me see. My computer's a little funky, so I might have a little bit of a lag. Perfect. Does that look okay?
It is coming up slowly. There it is.
Perfect. All right. Yes. And if you guys have any questions, I have some time at the end for us to do a little Q&A. So if you want to write them in the chat or just hold on to them until the end, we can get to those later. But you never know, I might actually answer your question in the presentation. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get started. This is your Social Media 101 beginner-friendly strategies to grow your business online, not your online business. So a little bit about me. I am a mom, I'm a business owner, a content creator, and social media consultant. I am the owner of Vibe Consignment in the Dalles. I'm originally from Southern California. I moved up here to the Gorge in late 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And we actually moved up here for a different business venture. But with the pandemic, we had to close that business, and that kind of led me into doing reselling full time. I've been reselling since 2013, 2012. And so there actually used to be a consignment store here in the Dalles, but during the pandemic, they closed. I saw an opportunity and actually opened my first rendition of what my consignment store is 3 years ago in 2022 under the name Per Diem Thrift Shop, and that was inside of Studio Fit in the basement. So some people have shopped with me down there and haven't been to Vibe yet, but that is where I originated from. And yeah, we built into what I have now. We rebranded in 2023 and moved into our street level space at 416 East 2nd Street and have just been growing from there. All right, so what you guys can expect from today's webinar is we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to be talking about different platforms and what the pros and cons are for each single one and finding out which one is right for you. Each platform has its own purpose and can be more friendly, user-friendly than others. So we're going to talk about all of the ones that I'm aware of and see which one is the best fit. We're going to talk about some tools for content creation. I made sure to include options that are free. Most of these will have paid options as well, like you can upgrade your memberships, but all of them start off as free options for, sorry, how many times can I say options? Free alternatives for your content strategy and your growth. We're then going to talk about different metrics, what metrics are, why they matter, which ones you should be paying attention to. And then we're going to talk about strategy to grow online. And then, like I said, have a Q&A at the end. Who is this for? If you are a business owner, if you want to grow on social media, whether you are just starting out or you've had a presence online and you just want to grow it, if you aren't sure what you want to post, or if you just want this to be easier, you are in the right place. Social media, I say, is like having a whole other job on top of what we already do. Running our businesses is the main show, but social media is like that second little side hustle that's going to help push our main businesses. So if you want a simple, doable strategy, stay tuned. All right, so getting started with talking about the different platforms. I want you guys to drop in the comments or in the chat right now what platforms you are currently using. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Let me know down below which one you are on right now. You're not being graded. I'm not going to tell you one is right or wrong. There is no right or wrong answer because there is no one size fits all. Something that works for my business may or may not work for yours and vice versa. So we're going to figure out what is the best option for you and what business you're in. If you are a product-based business, there's going to be better options. And if you're a service-based business, there are going to be other ones that you'll be able to use better. And when you are thinking about what platform to use, the main question you want to focus on is, where is your ideal customer hanging out? And you might be wondering, well, how do I know what my ideal customer is? If you already have an established business, think about that one customer that comes in all the time, your number one customer. A customer that when you are shopping for your products or you're creating your services, you have their face in your head. You can see them so clearly. You know that they're going to like these products. What platform are they on? Because that's who your target audience is, the people who are already shopping with you. If you are not yet established and you're trying to figure out still who you're going to be targeting, think about, just make somebody up in your head, or maybe you have somebody in your life that you know is going to love your product, or somebody who you want to be shopping with you. Then think about that person and think about what social media platforms they are going to be scrolling on all day. Those are the platforms that you should be focusing on. Another question you can ask yourself is, what content feels fun to create? If you guys follow my Instagram for Vibe Consignment, you will notice that I love to create reels. I love to make funny reels. That is like, it's like second nature to me. That is the kind of content that I love. I don't like creating ads. Those take a little bit more brain power for me. Those take a little bit more work, but they're still necessary for running my business. So I want you to again think about what content feels fun and natural. If you are somebody who does not want their face on social media, if you don't feel comfortable speaking in front of a camera, then reels probably aren't going to be for you, or YouTube probably won't be for you. But we can find other platforms like, for example, LinkedIn, or even Threads on Instagram, which is something that I just started getting onto, that can be a better option for you guys. All right, let me see what's happening over here. Sorry, if I'm not looking at the chat, it's because I'm on my other screen. But anyway, okay, lastly, we're gonna choose our platforms based on what the goals are for our business, what our audience is, and what the vibe is. So it's kind of taking all of these questions that I just asked you and bundling them all up. So goal-wise, it depends on what you're trying to use social media for. Are you trying to drive foot traffic into your business? Are you trying to get brand awareness out? Are you trying to drive your online store? Are you trying to just gain reviews, whatever it is, those are going to drive what kind of content you're actually putting out there and what platforms you're using for. As you'll see when we go through the different platforms, you'll see which ones are best used for example, promoting a sale or event versus promoting new product. But all right, let's get started talking about the different platforms. So first we're going to start with my favorite. I'm not biased, I promise. But this is Instagram. So Instagram is, as you guys know, probably one of the most popular ones. It is owned by Meta, which also owns Facebook. And there's just a lot of engagement and action on this platform. So some of the pros are that it's great for visual learning, for posting pictures of you in action if you're a service-based business, or of your products. It is, like I said earlier, I'm really into Reels. So if you guys like that short form content, this is going to help you get more organic reach, and you can follow different trends. And like for examples are like memes or popular audios or sounds that are going viral. You can use those to get your content out. Another cool thing about Instagram is you have the option to actually talk to your customer. So you can post stories, you can talk to them in your DMs, you can answer them in comments. Same thing on Facebook. There's a lot of similarities. However, the demographic for Instagram does skew a little bit younger versus Facebook. And then also Instagram has some really great insights that can help you track your performance. If you guys are on Instagram, you want to make sure that you have a business profile, because this is going to allow you to look into the back end and see kind of more of your dashboard, and see some more of your analytics. It's called a professional dashboard. Sorry, that's what I'm talking about. So that'll show you more of the analytics of how much engagement you're getting on your posts. We'll talk more about these metrics later on. But if you guys don't have a business profile, make sure you have that set up. But write that down as some of your homework. Some of the cons for Instagram are that the algorithm is always changing. This can be true for any platform. That just means that something that works today might not work tomorrow. It might not work next week. And we have to be flexible as business owners, as content creators, to navigate the different changes and figure out what will work. Same thing is true for your own business. Something that you use now, some strategy or tool that you use now might be irrelevant in a little bit. And it just takes us being open to learning new techniques and trying out new things, which can lead to this being time consuming to create high quality content consistently, especially if things are always changing. We're always going to have to try different things. That's also, to play devil's advocate, that can be fun. It is a little bit harder to link products directly if you don't have it specifically set up with your Facebook, sorry, not Facebook, your Instagram shop, which can be linked to Shopify if you use Shopify. I don't have this set up for myself, so I'm probably not the best person to specifically talk about opening up a store on Instagram. When I was doing it, these features weren't even available yet. We would literally just post a picture on our feed and put the information on there. However, when you do have that all set up, and when you do have like Facebook and Instagram aligned and working together, it is fairly easy to use. The setting up part is difficult, and I know somebody did ask a question about that, but we can get back to that later. And then again, this requires strategy. It's not just about posting. You have to make sure you have the right hashtags. You have to have the right SEO words, search engine optimization keywords in your posts that are actually going to get the people who need to see your posts, get your stuff on their feed. You have to start getting into paid ads. You have to make sure you're developing hooks and just creating content that is engaging and eye-catching, so that people aren't just scrolling past your post without engaging with it. All right, moving on to, sorry if I'm, let's see. I'm just going to go back to the chat really quick and see if there's anything before we move on to Facebook. Oop. My computer is from 2012, so it's a little bit old. Okay, cool. Nothing crazy. Perfect. Okay, let's go back to our presentation here. So next we're going to be chatting about Facebook, which is like Instagram's sister. So pros for Facebook, you have a very, very strong local business and community reach. I will say for the Gorge, there is a very, very, very active community on Facebook. So getting into your local groups and just finding your community through there can be super helpful. If you host events or have some sort of like pop-up happening or whatever, making events on Facebook is also super great. I had a friend who owns a local business here in the Dalles, and she made a post for an event that she was hosting at her fitness studio, and she got people from out of town even coming in, or people who were just visiting because they were looking on Facebook and looking for things to do. They had never heard of her studio before, but they saw that event and that made them sign up and attend. So you just never know who you're going to be able to reach, but putting out those feelers and putting out those flyers, those posters can really help generate more foot traffic and just more attention to your brand. Facebook groups also offer niche connection and engagement. So one thing that I do for my business is I have a consigner only Facebook group that is open only to people who've consigned with my business. And it is like an exclusive kind of group where I post announcements and kind of special sales and things that is dedicated only to that group. In order to join it, you have to have consigned something with me. So that kind of offers just like this very connected small group on Facebook. Unfortunately, you can't do things like that on Instagram. So this is what makes Facebook really nice. And then again, I think I mentioned this a little bit, but you have a more built out way of building ads and creating paid ads to boost into your community or onto your following or even people who don't follow you. Some of the cons for Facebook is that growing your business page takes a lot longer than Instagram. Instagram, I feel like you can kind of go viral in a sense, not really viral, but like viral. We call it viral for me. So more viral than I would be able to, or something like same for you. If you get more posts on something than you normally do, I call that viral for you. The user base skews older, and that might not align with some target markets. Feeds can feel cluttered and harder to stand out. This is hard to, I mean, the same thing with Instagram, but people are mixing your business page with their personal and in groups and stuff. So it doesn't always feel like you're getting that solo attention from your buyers. But again, we're trying to reach the masses here. The interface is a little bit more difficult to navigate through, especially when you get into the Meta Business Suite, which is something that I'm going to talk about later. Meta Business Suite is the platform that you can use that's going to integrate both your Facebook and your Instagram pages. It's a wonderful tool that I'm going to talk about later, but it can be a little bit tricky if you don't really know what you're looking at. All right, moving on to some of the other platforms. We've got TikTok. Now, TikTok here is a little bit controversial. Honestly, this is just my opinion. I would say if you're not currently on TikTok, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend starting anew just because of all of the things that are just uncertain right now when it comes to this platform. However, if you are on this platform, here are some of the pros and the cons. So viral potential is unmatched for brand discovery. That means that you are more likely to go viral on TikTok than any other platform because TikTok likes to push small creators. So your follower count does not matter. If you are posting engaging and eye-catching and content that's going to keep people's attention, then it will push your content. And TikTok, it also leans more towards raw, authentic content versus really curated aesthetic content that we see on Instagram. TikTok is definitely more like behind the scenes and unedited and just kind of like film something and throw it up because people on this platform want to see the realness and the authenticity of your brand. The algorithm tailors content to niche audiences quickly. So if you are on TikTok and you search up funny dog videos, and then you watch a couple of those, and then you go back to your regular feed, it's immediately going to start showing you more funny dog videos. It listens to what you are talking about, not just in the search, but literally what it hears you talking about, and it'll start giving you content that is more relatable for that. So if somebody's talking about wanting to buy a house, and TikTok feeds that, which I know isn't great. I don't have all the info on this, but if your phone hears you talking about wanting to buy a house, it's going to start showing you real estate ads and showing you content based off of that keyword. And then trends and music make content creation fun and fast-paced on TikTok. Trends come and go really, really fast. So whether you're creating on whatever platform you're on, make sure you're getting onto those trends as soon as possible so that you can really ride the wave. If you are latching on at the end, it's just not going to push your content out as much. If you guys are wondering what trends are, it just means like when music or audios are trending or when funny memes are trending. It's creating relevant videos for your business that's going to match that, and using those same audios and all of that. Okay, cons for TikTok is you have to post a lot. I see content creators who say you have to post like 3 times a day, and I don't think that that is necessary. I think that posting once a day is fair for any platform, especially when we have so much on our plate. And then you also have to get a little bit into video editing skills. I know I mentioned that this platform likes the raw, authentic content. However, sometimes the editing skills are required. You can use the built-in editing software that's in the app, or you can use external apps, which I'm going to talk about later when we talk about tools. Your content has a short shelf life. So it's same as Instagram. I feel like once people scroll past it, it's kind of done. They're not really going to think about it again. Yes, you can save content, but it's not like it just really lives on a homepage that somebody can go and search up. And then again, this is the opposite of Facebook, but this has a younger user base that might not match every business. Okay, so these I feel like the next one I'm going to talk about are a little bit less popular when it comes to businesses, but they still should be considered when you are thinking about what platforms to post on. So this one is Pinterest. If you guys are familiar with Pinterest, it is all about like pinning your interests. That's where their name comes from. So you can see blog posts, you can see photos of products, you can get style inspo. That's what I use Pinterest for. I use it for creating outfits. But this is a really great visual platform. So there is evergreen content on here. Pinterest does act like a search engine. So for example, if you are a realtor and you are creating a blog and you're talking about like, I wish I knew these 10 tips before I bought my first house or something like that, and you make a blog post about it, Pinterest would actually be a really great way to promote that and turn it into like a really eye-catching graphic that will go onto Pinterest. So when people are searching like what should I know before buying a home or whatever, your content will pop up. It's great, like I said, for visual products, DIY, fashion, and planning. I would say if you're like in the wedding industry, this would be a really great platform for you. If you're in clothing or if you have like an online boutique, this could be a really great one. If you are in services such as like home cleaning or even personal styling, these could be great places for you to post your blog posts. Or if you even have a YouTube channel, just like linking it onto Pinterest can be very helpful. So like I said, it is search based. You have discoverability without followers. You don't have to have a really big following. You just have to make sure you have the correct search terms in your posts so that when people are searching for those things, your stuff is popping up. And then, yes, again, it drives traffic to websites, blogs, and product pages. So you can link whatever you want to onto these posts. So while people are looking through, I don't know if you guys have ever looked up recipes on Pinterest, but when you click on like a really appetizing picture of, I don't know, what's something I look up, like a really nice pasta dish or something. When you click on it, it's going to lead you to the blog post that has the recipe. So that's really nice to get traffic to your website. Cons requires high quality graphics to stand out. You really have to make your graphic look better than everything else, so people are more willing to post or click on yours versus any other ones, because there are kind of a lot of things on there. Pinterest is evergreen, so that means that once you post something on there, it stays on there and anybody can see it. I see recipes and I see posts back from like the 2010s, and I even save them on my post. So things that I was posting in high school are still on my page, and even though it's not necessarily what I want to be looking at now, it's still there. So just keep in mind that whatever you post on there is going to be there for a while. You don't have as much interaction opportunities on Pinterest. So yes, people have the opportunity to comment on posts, but it doesn't feel as like personal, in my opinion. And then it does take up time to build momentum and to see results. This is not a platform necessarily that you're going to go viral on. You have to kind of keep posting and post consistently in order to see any sort of traffic. But you can also track metrics on there as well. Next is YouTube. So if you guys don't know this, YouTube is owned by Google. And so YouTube is also looked at as a search engine. So people go onto YouTube the same way that they go onto Google and they type in how to repot my plant, something like that, right? And it's going to show them how-to videos. So how can you take this platform and make it relevant for your business? So I'm going to go back to that example I used with a realtor. So 10 reasons why, or 10 things you should know before buying your first home. You can sit down and record a video of yourself and just say all of these tips and post that as a video. So when people are searching, your video is gonna pop up. When people search in Google, it's also gonna promote these YouTube videos because again, they are owned by the same company. It takes all of the data from YouTube and intermingles everything so that when somebody searches, it can find the most appropriate answers for them. So the pros of YouTube are they are evergreen content, searchable content that builds over time. So I do create content on YouTube. That's one of the ways that I started on social media is before I opened my store and I was only selling online. So I was selling on like websites like Poshmark and eBay. I created a YouTube channel teaching other people how to sell their clothes on Poshmark and eBay. And even though I'm not currently active on that platform, I still get videos that are being viewed every single day from videos that I posted 2-3 years ago. So this is what I mean when I say if you make evergreen content, people will always be finding it and always be getting eyes on your business. So it's a great platform for tutorials, education, and deep dives, and there is monetization potential. I will say if you're just focusing on YouTube for monetization purposes, it's a long road. I have gotten monetized, but it's not a lot and it requires a lot of time and a lot of work. But YouTube does give you the opportunity to position yourself as an expert or authority in your niche. I'm thinking about other people in this chat. I don't know if Allison's still in here, but if your husband made videos about fishing, like I don't know anything about fishing, so excuse me for if I say anything wrong, but something about like how to set up your fishing pole or like what's in my fishing gear bag or my favorite fishing tools or must-haves or something like this could really attract a larger audience that doesn't just live in the gorge. And it could also bring in people in your store when somebody comes in and they're talking about like, oh, I've never been fishing. Like imagine I walk into your store and I say, I want to get into fishing. You can be like, oh, we have a bunch of YouTube videos online about how to get into fishing and fly fishing. And if you want to watch that, you can get started on there. But if you want, you can upsell them into private lessons or something like that. So it's just a great way to kind of give your customer base a bank of educational videos for them to learn. And same thing with real estate or whatever. If you are, giving basic tips for what, like walking them through how to purchase their home, each video could be like a different step on that. So I hope that all makes sense. Going into cons of this platform, the video production process can be very time consuming. To make engaging videos on YouTube, it does take a while, and it will require you to invest in some really nice camera gear or editing softwares. I will say though, if you do want to start, just start with your phone. You guys all have a smartphone, start with that, edit with one of the tools I'm going to be sharing with you later, and you can just get started until you can afford to upgrade. It says slower growth compared to other platforms. I don't always agree with this. YouTube also has the option to post shorts. So that means like reels or what's the other one? Like TikTok videos. You can take all of those content and you can take all of those pieces of content and actually cross-post them onto YouTube. You can actually do that for all platforms. I am currently in this process of taking all of my Instagram reels and putting them on Facebook and on TikTok, but you can do that for all of the platforms that I'm talking about right now. So this is one of the tips I'm going to share with you later, but it is repurposing your content. And then, Yes, the last con, mobile experience is less social versus TikTok or Instagram. I think this can be true. I feel like on YouTube, you do have a lot more silent watchers. So this means people who will watch your content but won't engage, and sometimes won't even subscribe. So if you notice that you're getting a lot of views, but your follower count isn't going up, or you're just not getting a lot of engagement, don't be discouraged. There's a lot of people who just don't like to engage, but they are watching your content and are probably learning a lot from you. Okay, moving on to LinkedIn. This is a platform that I will be completely honest with you guys about. I just made my profile on LinkedIn. Just with what I do, I don't necessarily need this, but I am curious to learn more about it. So LinkedIn is more for professional focused audiences. It's great for business to business or for service-based businesses. You can find high quality conversations and thought leadership, and organic reach is still strong. It's a good place for you to repurpose your content, but not necessarily videos or photos. It's going to be more about like educational based reviews, case studies, things like that. And it's definitely more of a formal tone versus like TikTok or Instagram is definitely going to be more casual and more fun. I would probably not fit in super well on LinkedIn, but it never hurts to try something. All right. So I will say that. So it says the user base leans corporate or traditional. However, I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs on LinkedIn and a lot of collaborations can come out of it. So say you are a business owner who has a brick and mortar space and you're looking for other businesses to collaborate with, or like say you want to do a pop-up, or say you want to offer like another service in your business, or just kind of tap into other industries. This is going to be a great place to meet people in different industries or even in the same industry and kind of learn from them. And then again, it's harder to grow if you're not already connected to your industry on here. Sorry, I don't have too much to say about LinkedIn, but if you are a professional-based business owner or do service-based business, then this is going to be a good platform for you. All right, so I'm going to go back to this chat here because I feel like I'm kind of flying through everything. But let me just see, how are you guys feeling? Did you guys was there a platform that I talked about that you're like, I think I want to try that one? Let me know in the chat if I piqued your interest on a new one.
Karina, I just want to call out for Tina. She asked, do these comments influence? And she was asking that while we were talking about Pinterest, I believe. Tina, do you want to speak more to that question?
Sorry, I'm waiting for it to load. I need to invest in a new computer. For sure. Okay. I think I kind of understand what you're saying though. So the comments on Pinterest, are you saying does that influence, like, does the engagement make your post show up more? I don't actually probably, I will say I haven't posted a whole lot on Pinterest. I usually am taking my YouTube videos and reposting them on Pinterest. But I will say, yes, you can like and you can save, you can share, you can comment, all of those things. The more engagement you're getting on your posts are definitely going to help boost it up. Because for example, if there's a certain post that's getting a lot of comments or getting a lot of likes, it's going to show the platform that people are into this, and it's going to keep people on the platform. Revisit. Do folks form positive opinions based on the Pinterest comments? I think it depends on the Pinterest comments. But for example, I'm just thinking of what I use Pinterest for. So I use Pinterest a lot for like finding recipes. So if I'm looking in the comments and I'm seeing somebody say like, oh, I tried this recipe, it was amazing, that's going to make me want to try it as well. Yes, the recording will be available. Oh, perfect. Okay. So moving back to our slideshow. And again, I will address more of you guys' comments towards the end. These are some of the tools that are going to make content creation easier. And like I mentioned, all of these are free to use from the beginning. So for the most basic levels, they are free. And then you have the options to upgrade and learn more or get more features available to you. Sorry, I'm looking in my notes just to see. Okay, cool. So first we're going to start with everybody's favorite, and that is Canva. I used Canva to make this presentation. There are so many fun things you can do with Canva. I use it for all of my graphics. I even print through Canva sometimes, and they just have so many amazing beginner-friendly options to creating eye-catching posts, especially for social media, because you can, when you're going on the platform, or sorry, when you're going on the website, you can already go through and see like, okay, if I want to make a Instagram reel, or if I want to make an Instagram story, it's going to give you templates that are designed for that ratio. So it's going to give you the perfect size to be able to post. If you pay for the paid version, you can resize your post. So you can take something that was starting off as an Instagram post and turn that into a Instagram story, which is super helpful, but not necessary if you are on a budget. If you're just starting out, the free Canva option offers you so much. So Canva is probably one of my '1 tools to have as a small business owner. And again, their drag and drop templates are amazing. One of the cool features that I really like with Canva is you can create brand kits, which is super important for brand awareness. If you have a logo, if you have brand colors, if you have brand fonts, you can actually put that into your Canva and keep it saved so that when you are going to create a new post or anything, you can include all of those things, and then all of your posts will look kind of uniform. They'll always have your trademark colors, and that's just going to help build brand awareness. When people see your post, they're going to know immediately that that's you because they recognize those colors or they see your logo. Okay, coming on to the next one, we have CapCut or InShot. These are video editing apps that are going to help you create short form videos for social media. CapCut is owned by the same company that owns TikTok. And so if you are familiar with TikTok, their editing software, I will admit that's not my go-to, but it is a very CapCut is a very user-friendly way to edit your videos. There are a lot of options though that you do have to pay for, but there are some free ones. I just pay for the free I don't pay for it. I use the free version. I did get a chance to speak with Meta actually I think it was like about a month ago. I got to hop on a phone call with somebody from Meta, and they were sharing that Instagram is actually coming out with their own editing app. I think it's going to be called, actually, I don't know what it's going to be called. I don't want to say the wrong thing. But they're pretty much coming out with their own version of CapCut. I know this is so silly, but these platforms know where you edited your content from. And for example, if you edit something on TikTok, and then you try to post it onto Instagram, it's not going to perform as well as if you were to edit that same piece of content inside of Instagram. So Instagram is making their own editing software so that you don't keep using TikTok stuff. I know that's super silly, but just a little tip, if you are starting from CapCut, InShot, or whatever, if you're editing on an external app and you're bringing it into a platform like Instagram, make a tiny little tweak in the Instagram editing software that's built into the app, and that will kind of help the performance of your content. Oops. Sorry. Okay, moving on to Planoly. There are other options for content planning, but Planoly is a really good way to kind of plan out your Instagram feed. I think this is only good for Instagram, so if you're thinking about using this for other platforms, unfortunately this is not going to work. But Planoly allows you to kind of figure out what you're going to be posting on Instagram and see what your feed will look like before you post it. And this is for people who are very, very into the aesthetic of their pages. If you want your brand to come off a certain way on Instagram, using a planning app like Planoly is going to help you. It also allows you to schedule things in advance, so you can set everything up and then set dates and times for things to be posted. and then it'll automatically do that for you. However, you can also do that inside of a lot of apps. So I don't personally feel the need to use Planoly because I just schedule things out inside of Instagram itself. But it is an option there if you want it. Next, moving on to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is another really good option that is free, but there is a paid option, like I said, for all of these. And ChatGPT can help you generate caption ideas, hashtag suggestions, and content plans. And what's cool about ChatGPT is it does give you a really good layout, but I do really suggest don't ever just like copy something from ChatGPT and put it into your copy. Tweak it around, make it sound like you. It is a robot after all, so you definitely want it to give it your voice and help it create content that's going to feel more relatable to your customers. But you can definitely use it to help create like ideas for what you should be posting. If you ever get stuck and you're just like, okay, like I need to make 10 Instagram posts this month, you can type into ChatGPT, can you please a good what is it called? Not a script. Something you can ask, a prompt. There you go. A good prompt you can ask ChatGPT is you can say like, hi, my name is Karina. I own a women's and men's consignment clothing brick and mortar store. I want to make content for people to come and consign with me. Can you help me make 10 ideas for Instagram posts of what to post on my Can you help me come up with 10 Instagram posts promoting consignment at my store? And then it'll give me a full idea or a full layout of what I should be posting. And again, don't use it word for word. Take what you like, leave what you don't. But it can be a really good way to kind of bounce ideas off of something. Next is Google Docs. And Google Docs is great for drafting, for figuring out what you want to be talking about. You can even make a calendar on Google. And you can use this also for collaborating. So I actually just did a brand deal with a company. And in order for me to get the content approved, I was uploading all of my content into a Google Drive so that they could look at it, review it, and approve it. And if they needed me to make any adjustments or any changes, they were just writing in that Google Drive what I needed to add or change, and then I was able to kind of communicate that way without having to keep uploading files onto email and kind of getting things confused. So we had just one folder, which made it a lot easier. And then for us, for social media, for small businesses, you can also use it to draft your videos. So if you're thinking about getting onto YouTube or writing Pinterest or whatever, you can draft everything in Google Docs and then use that as a script, or even plug that into ChatGPT, get it to kind of refine it, and then put it back in and just kind of use that as like a landing base. All right, lastly on this list, we have Meta Business Suite, and I talked a little bit about this earlier. So Meta is the parent company for Facebook and Instagram, and the Meta Business Suite is like your homepage for how you're going to organize all of your content that's going on both of those platforms. So when you link your business pages, you can have the option to post on both at the same time. So I don't know if you guys, let me know which one you guys go through. Do you post on Facebook and then share to Instagram or vice versa? I post on Instagram and then I have it automatically shared to Facebook. But you can use Meta Business Suite to kind of control all of that. You can use Meta Business Suite to create ads and to create target audiences for those ads, to organize things, to schedule posts, and to see all of your messages and comments and everything just in one place, so you don't have to keep going back and forth from your different profiles or from your different platforms. You can see everything there. If you are somebody who has multiple accounts, like for example, say you are a brick and mortar store and you have multiple locations and each one of those locations have their own Instagram account, you can actually link all of those onto the same thing as long as they have the same, I think it's the same email address connected to it, but then you'll be able to kind of track through each one and make sure everything is aligned and working together. All right, so moving on to the types of content. So this one is going to be a little bit in depth. We're going to go kind of in depth on all of these. But if you guys want to write all of these down, if you guys are taking notes, definitely take notes on this part. So you have different types of content that you can be posting, and this goes across all platforms. So it doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you can use any of these contents. You don't have to use all of these all at the same time. They are going to be used for specific goals that you may have, or depending on what kind of business you have. So the different kinds of content we have are educational, entertaining, inspirational, promotional, user-generated, engagement, behind the scenes, trending, live content, and then story-only content. Now there are some overlaps. Like I will say trending content is probably like a under entertaining content, and engagement content could be under that too, or it also could be under educational. But for example, educational content is going to be where you are educating your audience. You are sharing something with them. So I'm going to use my business for an example. If I'm teaching people what consignment is, or if I'm telling people the benefits of using of shopping secondhand, that's going to be under educational content. So I'm not directly selling anything to my customers in this kind of content. I'm just teaching them something. Educational content is going to help build that authority. It's going to make you look like an expert in your field. So the more you can teach, the more value you can give your customer, the better, because they're going to come to you knowing that she knows what she's talking about. She's going to help me get into whatever this industry is. Entertaining content. This is where you're going to get a lot of engagement from. This is making people laugh or making people just think about something funny. I don't know. Entertaining can be like most of the reels that I make on Vibe Consignment Shop on my Instagram, but it's just funny things that, again, aren't necessarily directly selling to your customer, but this can really help with brand awareness, and it can help with community building as well. I get so many people that come into my store because of a funny reel that I made, and I didn't even tell them to come into the store. I didn't tell them they should go shopping. I just posted something funny, and they end up coming in and talking about how they love my reels, or they saw it and it was so funny and blah, 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 whatever. But that's why I love creating them, because it does get people in the door without me having to feel kind of that icky, salesy kind of vibe. Anyway, inspirational content. Again, this is kind of self-explanatory, but you could talk about like the origin of your business, like how you started, how you got to where you're at, what inspired you to release a new product or a new service or something like that. So that's just kind of going to get people behind the into your brain a little bit more. Promotional content, this is, again, all of these are really self-explanatory, but promotional content is going to be if you have a sale coming up and you want to share more info on that. I would say this should be the least amount of content that you make. Out of everything, you should be doing like 10 times more of everything else, and then like the least amount promotional content, because you don't want to come off as salesy. You don't want to come off as pushing people to only come in to sell. Like, you are providing so much more value than just things in your store, even if you are a product-based business. So you want to make sure that your sales posts are on minimum and only when necessary. Like, I just had a really big sale this past weekend, and I was pushing out so much content about my sales, but that's because the whole month prior, I was pushing all just entertaining and educational and behind the scenes kind of content. All right, user-generated content. This is going to be your best friend. User-generated content is when other people create content for your business and you just get to repost it. So this is also called UGC, user-generated content. You can pay people for this. You can also just ask your customers to snap a picture in their new outfit that they got from you, or to write you a review, or to make a quick little story talking about their experience working with you. And then if you can ask them for their permission to take that post and repost it, that's going to save you so much time. I just posted today some reviews that I just pulled off of Google, and I put them in a Canva template. I posted those, and that's my content for the day, but other people wrote it for me. So it was not a lot of work, but it shows kind of that other people like what you're doing. So people want to do what other people are doing. So if you can show from a customer's point of view what it's like to shop at your business or work with you, then that's going to be great. Okay, behind the scenes content that is showing kind of like a day in the life of a realtor, a day in the life of a store owner, showing kind of like your back office. What do you do back there? What do you do on your days off? It's getting a little bit more personal and showing your audience something that they wouldn't necessarily see if they just walked into your store. And this again builds that relationship and builds that community. Trending content. So trending content is just making the funny viral reels or whatever. A little tip. I don't know if I can show this, if it's going to show up on my camera, but I'm trying to find one here. Okay, so if you go on Instagram and you're looking at reels and you, oops, let me quiet that down. If you look at the, I don't know if you guys can see it because my camera's lagging, but if you can see right here, there's a an audio sound right there. It says what the audio is called. There's a little arrow that's pointing up, and that means that it's a trending audio. And what that means is that a trending audio is going to get pushed on people's feeds, on people's For You pages, more than a regular item. So, or sorry, more than like something that's not using that kind of audio. Sorry, let me see again. I'll try to, let me find it again. It's just a tiny little arrow next to the audio that shows that it's trending. You can also look up when you're creating a reel. This is on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. It'll just show a little arrow, but I can't show it on my phone for some reason. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So if you see that little arrow, that means it's a trending audio, and those are the kinds of content that you should be focusing on. Okay, and then we have live content. So this is going live on platforms. This is going to help you, again, make that connection with your customers. I've been going live in my store, kind of showing new things. You can do some storytelling. You can do live Q&As. Like I could have done this live on my Instagram. You can do so many things on live content. And that's just going to help you, again, talk to your customers a little bit more. You can engage with them. You can even invite people onto your live. So I think you can have you and somebody else, and your pictures will both show, but then everybody else who's watching will also see, and you guys can talk, you guys can chat. So this is a good way to collaborate with other business owners, with other people in your field. You can say stories, you can share testimonials, whatever it is, but live content is great. With live content specifically, I would say having a set schedule for this. So it's almost like a TV show, like people can expect that you're going to go live every Friday at 10 a.m. That's what's going to help build it, because if you just kind of randomly go live, it's going to be a lot harder to build that traction and actually get people to come into your show. And then story only content. This is just posting onto your stories on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know what other platforms have stories, but this is the stories that only last 24 hours. So it'll only be available for 24 hours if somebody clicks onto your icon at the top. You can share whatever you want. I like to reshare content. So if like one of my neighbors is having a sale, or if a community event is happening, I'll post that on there. I'll do kind of like just talking head videos, and that just means like I'm like recording myself talking, sharing something in my stories. Yeah, pretty much anything. Another thing I do every single day for my business is I post 10 items to my stories, and I share how much they cost, and I'm telling you, I never fails. I sell at least one thing from that story from somebody who wasn't even planning on coming into my store. So they'll either call, text, purchase it online, or come into the store, and then they end up buying more things. So those are really good ideas. Again, I feel like you only really need to post once a day. You can even get away with posting 3 to 5 times a week. Just find what you can sustain and then stay consistent with it. If that means you can only post once a week, but you can be consistent with that, then that is totally fine. You have to train your algorithm what you're going to do. If you're posting sporadically, the algorithm isn't going to know what to push. Your platforms aren't going to know what to expect from you. So you want to be as consistent as possible. I highly recommend at least one in-feed post, which means a regular post. This is for Instagram or Facebook, but you're going to want to do a an in-feed post, either a reel, a post, a carousel, a video of some sort, and then I want you to be posting to your stories every single day. Even if it's something little like a picture of your store or a picture of you and your coffee or something, just post in your story every single day, and get people to engage with that and just see what's up. So you're always on their brain. They're always thinking about what you are doing, and then they will engage with you. And again, done is better than perfect. I feel like a lot of people's hesitancy with social media is that it doesn't always look perfect, or it's not always great, or the quality isn't always up to their own standards right off the bat. But the thing is, you're not going to get better if you don't keep practicing. If I look back at content that I was creating even like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 12 years ago when I first started, it honestly makes me cringe at how much I didn't know. But then again, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now if I didn't keep staying consistent and keep practicing. And this is something I tell my daughter all the time too. It's like, you're not going to be good at something right away. You have to keep practicing. So just get it out there. Let people know what you have to say, what you offer, what your store is, what your business is, and just get it out there. You will get better over time. All right, so here are just some quick tips for creating content. I have 8 tips in total. So number 1 is to batch your content creation. What that means is maybe scheduling out one day a week, or maybe even one day a month, maybe one day every other week, and just create as much content as you can, so that you don't have to worry about what to post every single day. This is going to help when you are scheduling things out. And this is great for people who are always saying like you don't have enough time. You can carve out a couple hours once a month to create content and stay consistent. And an easy way to do that is by using templates and brand elements, like I said, in Canva. So if you are just making like this, if you have the same template that you can kind of just plug and play whatever you want in it, that's going to make creating content so much faster. Next is use a content pillar strategy. So if you go back and look at the types of content, I want you to pick 3 of those depending on what your goal is. So if your goal, let me go back here for a second. So let's say your goal is to drive traffic into your store. You want people to come into your store. What 3 of these would you use? I would use probably entertaining, user-generated content, and probably either trending content or live content. But again, with trending content, it's a little bit hard. I would say that you can kind of, in any of these can be trending content, but you want people thinking about your brand and coming into the store. So if I'm doing live content, I could do like a live sale every single day or every once a week or something, and get people to be like, okay, if you want to purchase this, you have to come in to purchase. But that's just one thing. So yes, depending on what your goal is, figure out which ones of those types of content are going to help you achieve that goal, and then focus on those. And then later on, you can readjust and figure out what else you need to do. Next tip is to repurpose your content. So kind of like what I said about cross-listing from Instagram to Facebook to TikTok to YouTube, whatever it is. It's also taking the same kind of content. So for example, let's do like user-generated content. Say somebody made a review for you, and you ask them if this is a tip that I learned. I haven't used it yet, but I think it's very helpful, especially for service-based businesses. If you can get a video of somebody giving you a review, you can take that video and actually transcribe it. So you can take the audio out, you can turn it into text, and then you can take that text and you can turn it into a review to post on a blog. You can turn it into a review to post on your social media. But then you also have that video that you can turn into a reel. So it's the same content, but you are using it in different ways. And the other thing I say too is picture-wise, like if you have pictures of your store, even if it's the same picture, keep posting it, because that's just going to get people accustomed to learning what your business actually looks like, and get them to like recognize that that's what I'm going to know. And especially for people who haven't been into your store yet, if they continue to see the same photo, by the time that they come in, they're going to feel so well acquainted to what you offer, that they're going to feel more comfortable coming in. Okay, some more tips we have here. Keep a running list of content ideas. So what I like to do is, since my main platform is Instagram, while I'm doom scrolling, while I'm scrolling through, if I like a reel that I want to recreate, I just save it. So there's that little flag icon that you can save, and it'll go into your saved content, and then I just go back in there and I repurpose it. So not repurpose, I'll take the audio for whatever it is, and then I'll film my variation of it and do that. I also have just a notes app. On my notes app, I just have a list of ideas for content that I want to post. So if I think about like a YouTube video that I want to make or a reel that I want to make, then I just write down what my ideas are. And then when I'm feeling really inspired, I'll just write out like a quick little summary or outline of what I want to do. And then later on, when I have actually time to film it, then I'll do it that way. All right, next is keep it real. Don't worry about fluff. Don't worry about making it look perfect. Honestly, the more authentic you can show up to your audience, the more it's going to perform well. The more you're going to feel comfortable, and you won't have to feel like you have to put on like this persona or this mask to be on camera. Just keep it as real as possible. Just talk to your people, like talk to your phone like you would talk to customers in your store, or like you would talk to your clients. And that just helps make it be way more relatable for the people who are watching. And then plan for engagement. So this is when you are creating your content, you want to make sure you are planning for content that's going to get people to react, to like, to share, to comment. One of the best ways to make content one of the best things you should think about when you're creating content is to create content that is shareable. So make a post, an educational post, for example, that is teaching somebody something new, and it's going to affect them so much that they're going to want to share that to their friends. They're going to want to be like, oh my gosh, look at this post that I just saw. That's going to help you grow organically. It's like word of mouth, right? So you want to do that for all types of content that you have, because most platforms you can reshare things, or people will even, take your YouTube video and put it in a Facebook group or whatever it is, and get the word out even more. And then lastly is audit and refresh. Kind of like what I said earlier about the content pillars. You can focus on 3 things now, and then maybe in a month or 2, kind of look back and see what's working and what's not. And I'll tell you exactly how to do that moving in the next slide, and kind of refresh your strategy and figure out how you should be moving forward, what kind of content you should create now. You can keep what's working for you and kind of throw away what doesn't and try something new. All right, I'm trying to get through the rest of these so we can have time for Q&A, because I've been noticing a lot of questions. But now we're going to be talking about metrics. So kind of going back to the question that I was answering earlier about engagement. So the metrics that actually matter. So you have reach, which means how many people are actually laying eyes on your content. Engagement, which is how much people are interacting with your post, whether that's liking, sharing, saving, commenting, sharing to their stories, whatever it is. You have profile visits, and then you have link clicks. If you guys don't have a link in your bio that leads them to your website or to an order form or to a Calendly like book with me thing, you need to go set that up right now. Because that is how you're going to turn your viewers and your audience into customers. So when you go on to whatever dashboard for whatever platform you're on, you're going to be able to see all of these things. You'll be able to see your followers, your non-followers. So that means how many people are looking at your item or looking at your page that don't follow you. You'll be able to see like how many followers you've gained, how many followers you've lost. You can even look on certain reels, like how many followers that specific reel gave you. So if I have one reel that gave me 100 new followers, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to recreate something really similar to this because this one did really well. And then same with other things. You can kind of track to see what each post led to. So did this post make a lot of people share it? Okay, then that's good. I need to make more posts like that. Did this post make a lot of people click the link in my bio? Perfect. Then you can kind of see what types of content lead to certain outcomes. And so metrics that actually matter, you're going to want to recreate what works. You can look at your metrics to kind of see what is working, what's not, tweaking different things. You can also see when your audience is most active. So if you know that your audience is online in the morning, you're probably going to want to post in the morning, or vice versa. If they're on at the evening, you're going to want to post when they're on. So those are kind of little things that you can look at. And again, just posting more of what your audience engages with. You can also see demographics on your metrics. So you can see if you're reaching more men than women. You can see where your audience is located. And seeing things like that are going to help you figure out when you're creating paid ads, what audience you should target those ads to. All right, so next steps. You're going to want to pick the platform that you want to focus on. I highly recommend just focusing on one platform at first, getting really, really comfortable with that, and then moving on to the next. If you are just repurposing content, then I think that's fine. Like, for example, my main platform is Instagram, but I repost to Facebook and I repost to TikTok. I'm not fully focused on those other platforms. They just kind of get the leftovers. But just focusing your energy on one, really growing one is going to help you, because then you can draw all of your you can take that audience and tell them to follow you on other platforms as well. Choose 1 to 2 tools to try. So out of that list of tools, I think it was like Canva, Planoly, ChatGPT, Meta Business Suite, Google Docs, and CapCut. Pick 1 to 2 tools you want to try. Maybe go download them. Like I said, they're free for Google and Android and Apple devices. And then plan your posts maybe for the next week. Oh, yeah, perfect. Plan your 3 posts for the next week. I thought that said plan your posts for the next 3 weeks. I was like, why did I write that? Plan 3 posts that you can post this week. Maybe that's like what I did today, going onto your Google reviews and pulling 1 or 2 of those and then reposting them onto your page. Maybe that's doing a store tour. Maybe that is posting a graphic promoting a sale or an event that you're having. Just plan 3 posts that you're going to post for the next upcoming days. And then lastly is just take a look at your metrics. If you guys have questions about that, about how to read your metrics and everything, I actually have something else I'm going to share with you in a little bit. But if you want to just take a look at your metrics and kind of see if you can figure out what you're looking at, and if not, then we have some other options to kind of help you guys get through that. All right, so yes, we are going to go into a Q&A, but first, if you guys want to follow me on social media, we can connect that way. You can email me at admin@shopvibeconsignment.com or connect with me on social media. I answer all Instagram messages or Facebook as well. And then Miket is actually going to be offering for you guys one-on-one consulting with me. It's going to be an hour long, I believe, but we're still kind of setting that up. So if you guys are interested in learning more about that, we will send you guys more information. I think Jacob will, or somebody from Miket will reach out to you guys if you guys are interested. But I would be more than happy to walk through your guys' metrics or just like show you more of the back end stuff, show you how to create content. But those are the kinds of things that we can do in this one-on-one consultation. And that should be coming up with more information soon. But anyway, that is it for my presentation. And I think now we have quite a bit of time to do some Q&As. And I know there were a lot of questions.
Karina, I tried to track some of the questions, so I'll try to help moderate, but feel free to either drop a question that you might have in the chat, and I can help moderate if we're in the middle of any conversation. If there's an opening, feel free to ask it yourself. Or like she said, I'm going to put together a Google form to sign up. If you're interested in one-on-one consultation, yep, an hour completely free, paid for. You can connect with Karina, kind of figure out where you're at and personalize it to you so that you can have really personalized the help. Because I know when it comes to social media, some people are like, I have nothing going and I want to get a Facebook profile set up. I know some of you in the chat already have some existing presence, and you maybe want to get that 201, 301 conversation a little bit more. So wherever you're at, we can personalize that for you, and Karina will work with you. But with that said, I copied a couple of questions that I'm happy to put up in place of people who have already asked them, and I have some of my own as well.
Sure.
One curious thing I want to ask is, what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that people make with their social media, especially as they're just getting started and trying to build out their presence?
Sure. I think the biggest mistake people make is more of like a mindset kind of thing. It's like just kind of expecting that one post is going to reach the masses. But there is a statistic. I don't know the exact words or the exact number, but it's like somebody has to see something 11 times before it actually like registers in their head or before they actually like know. So, and this is a mistake that I've made, but when I was just starting out and promoting an event or promoting a service, I would post it one time and then I would get really upset that nobody showed up or that nobody took advantage of this thing. And the truth is you just have to keep on posting it. You have to be like kind of sick of yourself. And even then, at that point, when you think you've posted way too much, there are still going to be people out there who have been like, I had no idea this was happening. So don't give up. Truly stay consistent and overshare. Like share every single day. If you have an event or a new product you want to release, just keep talking about it. Put it everywhere, because like the algorithms work so weirdly. Like sometimes even if you do post, not all of your viewers will see it. So again, just posting as much as you can and not giving up hope that your stuff's not working. Hopefully that answers.
That works for me. Someone, and I forget who, someone had a question about what are some safeguards as you're setting up. You see a lot of people that they get spoofed, they get hacked, they get someone taken over. I saw the Humane Society dealt with here in the Dalles dealt with this several months ago.
Yeah.
What are some practices that you might recommend for kind of keeping that database so you don't lose all of your content? So if you have to recreate, you can. How would you kind of go about that?
Sure. There's a lot of things you can do. And one kind of goes against what I was saying earlier about focusing on one platform, but it's also kind of like not keeping all your eggs in one basket. If we look at TikTok and see how we had that scare of TikTok completely getting shut down. There were a lot of content creators on that platform who that's their whole livelihood is creating content on TikTok. And with the ban that was happened for like a day, they were all kind of getting spooked on what to do. So they were jumping onto other platforms. So I would say don't just post on one platform. This is why I like to cross post. I put it on as many as I can. And also develop a email list. If you don't already have an email list, your email list is the one thing that you actually own. You don't own your followers. You don't own the people that are engaging with you on any of these platforms. So if you can, even if you don't send out emails regularly, just start building up your email list now, your email marketing list, so that you can, for whatever reason, if something happens and you can't access a platform, you don't want to lose all of your followers, you still have access to them and you can actually talk to them directly. In terms of losing your pages, make sure you have two-step verification on everything. You can do like texts, you can add your phone number, you can add email. Some of them even have like what is it called? An authentication app. I think that's what it's called. And it's something else you have to download, but it allows you to only have access to your own account. And then if it seems sketchy, if someone's messaging you and it seems sketchy, just don't even engage with it, because especially Facebook, I feel like I get so many messages on Facebook of people saying like, you broke the rules and we're gonna shut your page down. Click this link so that you don't get your page shut down. And I don't fall for it. It'll say like that they're messaging you from Meta, but it's like a profile with no picture on it with a random name. So just don't fall for anything. If you're really concerned, you can usually like ask Google or Reddit, and Reddit will have really good options or answers for if something's legit or not.
Awesome. I have more questions lined up, but does anyone else have some questions? Oh, Dina asks, what about cloning and recovery? Flow Yoga had her page stolen via clone, then they posted items for sale. Allegedly, your dad's estate sale. Do you have any recommendations for recovery?
No worries. Cloning. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have any real insight on that. The thing is, when you post online, you can, and somebody steals your content, you can flag them. You can like, what's the word? You can report them that they are impersonating or that they're selling something that's not theirs. But at that point, I think it's kind of up to Facebook and with or whoever, whatever platform you're on, for them to like kind of take charge of that. If you want to safeguard your photos, like if you are um, posting photos for things, putting maybe a watermark on it or putting your logo on it so that people, if people are just like copying your photo and they're trying to repost it, your logo will be on there. And you can do that on Canva very, very easily.
Does anybody else have some questions? I can keep going. I just added a bunch because I struggle with my own social media sometimes. Some of it is just getting it done. One thing you talked a little bit about a chat GPT. Are there any other integrated artificial intelligence tools that you can talk about? I know Instagram and Facebook are starting to like come out with some of those things, but have you used any of those?
Um, I know that Canva has its own AI that's built into it. It's still in the early phases. I just wanted to try it out, but I asked both Canva and ChatGPT to make me a flyer for a sale that I was having, and I plugged in all of the information, and it just did not make sense at all. There were so many typos, there were so many mistakes, but I think over time, as that AI kind of gets stronger, you'll be able to do things like that. But for example, if you guys ever use a background removal tool, that is AI. That's on Canva as well. There's a pro, sorry, there's a program that I use when I'm editing my YouTube videos, and it's called Descript. And so when I'm filming a video, I upload it onto Descript, and it completely transcribes um, my video. It turns it into words so that when I'm editing, I can actually just edit the writing, and that makes editing a lot faster for me. You can also ask it to like remove. You can also ask it to remove like gaps or filler words, and that's really helpful. But that's just a tool. If you have to pay for it, but it's a good one for talking head videos is what I like to call them. Cool. I thought I saw another question that I wanted to see, but if anyone else has a question, just pop it up in the chat. But I know Jacob, you said you had a lot.
Yeah. Would you talk a little bit about paid ads? When have you had success with paid ads? I know someone commented about Meta business page being frustrating. I share that 110%. Feels like there's four ways of doing the exact same thing, but maybe talk a little bit about how you should use paid ads, what you can expect to maybe get back to them, and how to use them effectively.
Sure. I'm still very much in the like early stages of using paid ads, but I will say, at least for my demographic, paid ads on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, have given me way more of a return than any other kind of marketing I've done. And I don't spend a lot on paid ads. I think the max I've ever spent on one like promotion was maybe $200. And that's what I love about it as well. It's so flexible. You can, whatever your budget is, you can use that. But I would say with paid ads, it's being as specific as you possibly can. And with your ad, you want to make sure all of the information is in that graphic. So if you're doing a sale, you need to have every single question somebody could ask you about in that graphic. So, what time? What's the sale? Where are you located? How can they contact you? What is on sale? Putting pictures of things, just being as all in one as you can in that ad, and then targeting exactly who you want to be shopping in that store. So you can go into the demographics. Sometimes it gives you a recommended audience for your ad, but I would go so specific on there. Whenever I do mine specifically for the gorge. So I click every single city. So I do the Dalles, Hood River, Goldendale, Cascade Locks, White Salmon, Bingen, Stevenson, whatever. And I target that specific community. And I do women between the ages of 18 to 45. That's my demographic. And then I go even deeper into interests. So people who like thrifting, people who like shopping. The more specific you can get, the better it's going to be. And don't be discouraged if it makes the total audience size lower, go down. Because when you do their recommended size, it's going to show you something like reach 1 million people, which would be great. But all of those million people probably are not going to shop with you. And especially being in the gorge, they might not ever even come to the gorge. So you want to be super specific, even if it goes down to only reaching 1,000 people. Imagine if 1,000 people walked into your store. Imagine if 1,000 people reached out to you to start your services. That's crazy. So just get it as niche and specific as you possibly can, and that's where you're going to find the most success. And if you guys do sign up for a one-on-one consultation, and we can build you an ad in that moment. So we can go on Canva and make you an ad, and that can be like super helpful just to see what you should be including.
I want to ask a follow-up on that. Is there anything when it comes to paid ads that you felt like, oh man, that was a mistake, that was wasted ad money, I shouldn't have done that? Is there something that you'd be like, hey, avoid this?
I would say I don't want to necessarily say avoid it, but I would say there are better options. Boosting posts. So the only way you're going to find success when you boost a post is, again, if you are so specific in in what you're sharing. So I boosted, I don't know, sometimes it tells you to boost all of your posts. Like if you're on Facebook or Instagram, it's going to just automatically pop up under everything. And if you even get like a little bit of engagement on it, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, this post is doing amazing, boost it. And it's like, no, don't waste your money on that. Like, don't just boost whatever you can just because it's telling you to. Like, you have to be very strategic about your ads. Because again, that is money. That is like time and energy that you're putting into this, and you don't want to reach just random people, especially in our community where we are so small. I mean, we're not small, but we're small. You want to make sure your ads and your targets and everything are focusing towards our community and the people who are actually going to come and shop with you.
This is going to be a personal softball for you as well. Someone asked about talk about your consignment business and how they can consign with you.
Oh yeah, awesome, cool. Yeah, shameless plug. We offer, we take all seasons all year, so you guys can come in anytime and drop off your items. You can shop while we are looking through your stuff. I'm gonna put my website here, and we have some more info on how to consign on our website. But we take men's and women's clothing all seasons all year. You get 30% of the selling price in cash or 40% in store credit. And you can get paid anytime once your items sell. Right now, we're kind of focusing more on spring and summer. We actually just did a huge sale this last weekend. We were crazy busy, super grateful for that. But tomorrow we're going to be putting out all of our summer wear. So I put out a bunch of bathing suits. We're also accepting for a limited time prom dresses, if you guys know of anyone who has prom dresses, but like only for the next 2 weeks because prom is coming up really quick. We're taking, all summer stuff. But it's just a great way, again, to kind of keep money in the community. I know that obviously, like, I appreciate you guys supporting a small business, but if you really think about it, when you're buying from a consignment store, that money is going back to consigners, and then people in our community are then able to spend that money in our community. It stays here. So it's just a wonderful way to just kind of keep money flowing through the gorge and in the Dalles specifically.
I'll add on to your plug because I've given some clothes to consign. I need to check my account. Let's see if anything's sold. It's awesome.
You
If
do
you're
have a
like,
balance.
oh, what'd you say?
I said you do have a consignment balance with us.
Yes. Score. The awesome thing is if you list something for consignment and you it ends up selling. I forget the percentages, but you have a little bit of a higher credit if you turn around and then buy it in store. So it's a good way to just again kind of keep that circular. But I just make a habit if I'm going through clothes and I'm about to go to Vinny's or drop things off at Goodwill, take some of the things that I'm like, these are kind of, things that I like a little bit more. She'll tell you if it's good or if it's not, and it's super, super easy. So I'll plug for you. Super easy to do that.
Thank you. Yeah, Ramona asked if I determine pricing. I do, but if you have like something that you are very specific about, like wanting to make a certain amount on, we can talk about it, and I will figure out if that's something that's feasible. And then for designer items or luxury items, if you guys have any, think like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, anything like that, you get higher percentage payouts, starting at 50%, and then goes up from there just depending on what the item actually ends up selling for. And most of the higher end stuff we actually sell online versus in store, just to get you guys the most money we possibly can. But yeah.
I'll just point out if anyone hasn't looked at the chat, I dropped a link and I'll drop it one more time. If you're interested in signing up for a one-on-one consultation, I just created a Google form that'll have a couple quick questions that we can try and consolidate, figure out a time that works best for you. We can do this virtually or in person, depending on Karina's availability. And then we have a audio and visual recording of this chat. I'll make sure we have the PowerPoint available in a PDF to look over as well for references. This is open. It's through the Washington State Micro Enterprise Association. We are, trying to focus on Washington, but again, it's the Gorge. So we have one foot on either side of the river. So if you know anyone who might be interested in looking at this content, I'll make sure that that link is shareable for you. If you know anybody that would be interested in that one-on-one consultation, that will be open as well. I think we have room for like 50 people. So definitely spread the word. We'll make good use of Karina's time and make sure everyone has good education to be successful in their businesses. One last opening if anybody else has any questions.
Thank you guys for coming also. Really appreciate you guys being here. Yes, I can share that presentation with you, Jacob, and maybe you guys can upload that to perfect.
Yeah, if you want to give me, you can convert that to a PDF. I'll make sure that it's added on. It'll definitely be on the MCED website, mcedd.org. And then I'll try and make it available on the Innovation Hub's website as well, mcihub.hub.org. Tina and Dina, MCED, mcedd.org, O-R-G. And then Mid Columbia Innovation Hub.org. That is a very long one. So you can do mcihub.org. Dina, I see you seeing the event I talked about. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but we'll post
one-on-ones.
Oh, the one-on-ones. Yeah. So there is. I'll drop the link one more time. This is a form to sign up for a one-on-one session with Karina. Oh, the room for 50 people. Oh, sorry. We have slots available for up to 50 one-on-one consultations. So if there's anybody that you know that is interested, wasn't able to make this event, might still make use of some of the one-on-one consultations, you can send them a link to that form, have them sign up, and we'll organize that with Karina. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Karina, for taking the time to spend with us. We'll look forward to connecting with more of you in the days and the weeks. Tina, it's absolutely free. This is being paid for through grant funds from the Washington State Micro Enterprise Association. So one-on-one consultation is free. 1 hour, the first hour. First one's always free. But I'll make sure this is available. I'll email anyone that was registered for this list. You can forward that. Thank you so much. We all want a successful gorge. A rising tide floats all boats. So really appreciate you all getting involved and hoping for success in your business ventures. You can email me at jacob@mcked.org. I'm dropping my email address right there. If there's any questions that you have, you can reach out to Karina, Vibe Consignment on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You're on TikTok?
Yes.
Feel free to reach out. And we look forward to seeing lots of social media content from all of you, okay? Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Karina, if you want to stay on for a couple minutes, we'll just make sure we game plan for everything. Thank you, guys. Let's see who's still in here. Okay, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to kick everybody else out. Report, not report them. Cool. I'm going to end the recording.